There's something that you want and you know exactly what it is. And you could describe it right now in detail without even having to think about it. So why haven't you gone and got it yet? And it's not because you don't know, it's because you keep taking another option instead. And you do it in about 2 seconds without never once even noticing that it's happened. But by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what those 2 seconds look like. Everybody will tell themselves that it's just a clarity problem. Most people think if you just get clear enough on what it is you want, you'll simply go out and get it. So people go and do the vision boards, they write the goals down and they get super specific. And then they go and accept less anyways. Because as I say, it was never a problem with clarity. You've always known. The gap isn't in not knowing what it is you want. The gap is what you would take whilst you are waiting for it. And let me prove this to you. Think about the thing that you really want to achieve right now. Whether it's the relationship that you want, the amount of money that you want to be making, or the way you want to feel when you wake up. You didn't have to sit back and really deeply think about that, did you? It was already there, fully formed. So now you can stop pretending that you need to have more clarity on what it is you want. And that is typically the uncomfortable part for most people. Because if you don't know what you want, then not having it wouldn't be your fault, because you'd just still be figuring it out. So as already mentioned, the question isn't what is it you want? The question is, what have you been taking or been getting distracted by instead? And here is what is actually happening. The thing you want is never available right now. It has a price on it. But that price is always the same. And that price is uncertainty, not knowing if it's ever going to arrive. But there's always something that's much smaller than the thing you want, and it is available right now. The relationship that isn't the right one, but it's here. The money that is far less, but it's guaranteed. The version of your life that isn't the one that you really want, but you could have it by Friday. So it's not that you're choosing less over more. You're choosing certain over uncertain. You need a sense of security. And that feels like a completely different decision, which is why you've probably never caught yourself doing it. Because if I was to ask you, would you prefer the smaller thing? You'd clearly say no, obviously not. But if I was to ask you, do you want the guaranteed thing or the maybe thing? You'd take the guaranteed one every time. And that's it. That's what happens in those 2 seconds. And that trade happens so fast, you never ever see it. But here is where that stops being a decision and it starts becoming who you actually are. Because every time you reach for that easy option, the guaranteed option, the option that provides more security, you're actually neglecting the thing that you really want. And what that then translates to is it's almost as if you're gathering evidence that the real thing you claim you want isn't actually for you. Think about it. If you really believe the thing that you are aiming to achieve and that you really want was coming to you, you would not allow yourself to get distracted by the smaller things. You'd be happy to patiently wait because you wouldn't go and eat when you know there's a guaranteed meal coming. So the moment that you go and take that easy option, you've already told yourself something. You've convinced yourself that the thing that's here right now is going to be as good as it gets. So you'll just take what it is because the other option, it's not going to happen. And then you just settle for the smaller option. And it does work. Sort of. And that becomes your level of normal. And then the next time that something even smaller comes along, it's just easier to take that option again. Because now you've got a history. Now you're the type of person that will sell themselves short and they'll just take whatever is easiest available. And that no longer becomes a decision. It becomes an automatic standard. And you built that 2 seconds at a time without ever noticing. And each time it compounded again and again, it became a much more hardwired standard that you continue to carry. And I've probably had this conversation more times than I could even count. Someone will sit in front of me and they'll describe to me exactly what they want, what their dreams, goals, ambitions, aspirations really are. They'll get super specific and be so certain that it's what they want to achieve. And there's never any confusion in the room at all. And a few weeks later, they'll come back and they've taken something else. And they'll explain it to me in a way that makes it feel justifiable, that they're convincing themselves that they made the right decision and how it was a reasonable decision and how the timing was just so right. And eventually, every single one of them would say the same thing to me. They get honest with themselves and they finally admit that they didn't truly believe that the end goal they had for themselves was even possible. And there it is. That's the 2 seconds where they didn't stop wanting it. And the second that you stop believing that it's coming, taking something smaller isn't just settling anymore. It's just being sensible. And that's the trick. That is when it's got you. It will never feel like you've given up or you've quit. It'll always feel realistic and justifiable. And because of this, I want to give you 3 moves on what to actually do about it. Number 1, Name what you want precisely. Not being vague is just, I want to be happy or I want to have more money. Because vague ones are so easy to substitute because almost anything can be argued to make them fit. If you can't say exactly what it is, you'll take something that is the nearest thing to it and you'll tell yourself that it counts. So get specific enough that a substitute would become obvious. Number 2. Catch those 2-second moments. The next time a smaller, easier alternative shows up in front of you, before you decide anything, just ask yourself one question. Am I taking this because I want it, or am I just taking it because it's here? And that's it. You don't have to say no, you just need to recognize which one it is. Because right now, you're not even seeing the moment, you're just going with it. And number 3, just hold out one time. Pick one small thing where you would normally take the substitute and don't. Not to be martyr about it and not to prove a point to anyone. Just so you can prove to yourself that you can sit in that gap and you can survive it. Because that's the only thing that you're actually scared of. It's the waiting. It's not the wanting. And once you've proved to yourself that you can wait out on just taking something small, you've just told yourself something that is absolutely huge. You've just told yourself that the real one is still coming and reinforced your belief by doing that. So listen to me when you can look around your life and you see it's full of things that you never actually wanted. You didn't fail and you didn't lack clarity. You didn't want it badly enough, and that's a lie that a lot of people will tell you. You just kept taking what was right in front of you because somewhere along the way, you stopped believing that the real thing that you wanted wasn't coming to you. But that is fixable because it starts the next time a smaller alternative shows up and you can start to notice those 2 seconds. But now you might be sitting there thinking, right, that's it, I've heard enough. I'm going to raise my standard. And you're telling yourself that you're going to cut everything out that doesn't match your standard or what you really want. But don't. Not yet. Because that's how most people blow their entire life up and end up exactly where they started, but 6 months later. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to raise your standards the right way, without having to strip everything back and burning everything down around you. So drop a comment below. Let me know what is the one thing that you really want, but you keep accepting less and taking a substitute for. Because I do read every single one. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so the next video finds you when you need it. My name's Harley. Do the work, trust the process, and I'll see you in the next one.